Dudes, it's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So, not a ton going on in Warframe right now while we wait for the 8 Claws event later in June, alongside the Spider Frame. So we got a dual TORXCIA Riven rolling video, basically one of the most popular new infested Lich weapons. I never had a Riven for it until today, so I'm going to be rolling it a couple times. Let me drop like 100k Kuva or more, and hopefully get a good roll before I drop 100k Kuva so we can rock out with it a little bit here. So yeah, make sure you're subbed to the channel, all that stuff. I'm not sure if this Riven rolling video series is the most popular to most people, so if you enjoy it, make sure to hit that like button, maybe even sub too. Do a ton of Warframe videos like this, and let's just get into the Suffer and Runaway. I'm not expecting the best rolls. I try to not roll too many Rivens, but yeah, if you guys enjoy this video, I even have a Tack and Lug Riven I can potentially roll after this one. But yeah, we got the dual TORXCIA, so I got a built-in heat roll right now, and this thing on kill spreads spores to nearby enemies. So as far as the roll on the Riven, though, I'm just going for maximum DPS. So we're looking for things like crit chance, crit damage, multi-shot can be good too. And we currently got punch through ammo, which is going to be worse than our cold punch through and minus slash Riven. So, yeah, like I was saying though, crit chance could be okay, but there is also the new arcane called Secondary Enervate, which gives you additive crit chance on hit. So that's also not really the most beneficial stat in all situations. So there's lots of things that I could be using on this thing, but minus status chance is not preferred, as this thing has good status chance at base. Would be a shame to really ruin that, so yeah. As far as the main uses I've had on the dual TORXCIA so far, I've been using it on Frost with the Secondary Shiver Arcane to get basically pretty big damage. This thing's spores on kill make enemies take even more damage, and cold procs make enemies have more crit damage on them, so with Frost, just a really big buff. So here we are with critical chance and status duration. So really not the best Riven. Status duration is good for the cold procs, I suppose, to make them last longer. But yeah, we have cold and punch through on the other one, so it's kind of not the most value to get that low amount of crit chance, just 80%, really not that strong. I think I'm going to stick with the initial one we had, although I do sometimes like to go with the roll on the right to make it. I just feel like the RNG just gets fixed a little bit when you go with the roll you haven't been taking yet. So here we are with crit chance, heat, and magazine size. This is a little bit more enticing. This thing has 160 magazine already, so getting a magazine size buff on that's pretty hilarious. So I think this one could be okay. Even also, it's also good with our cold or heat roll I was also messing with to have easy blast. But at the same time, low amounts on these percentages. So I think I'm going to stick with the one we already had just because it's more bang for your buck. I had Merciless Gunfight on the build earlier, and that looks a little bit better than Merciless Gunfight at least. So, alright, what do we have right here? We have a fire rate, damage, crit damage, but minus Grenier Riven. Now, I didn't mention this earlier, I should have mentioned it now. This weapon actually has really, really low Riven stats because it is viewed as popular. So, the fact that we got minus Grenier is not ideal. So we've got multi-shot slash crit chance. That's decent, but yeah, I was about to say, when you get a negative stat, like negative damage to Grenier like this, it's actually pretty bad when you're fighting a Grenier. Grenier are a pretty popular faction to fight in Warframe. Yeah, so if they were to buff the Riven disposition on this thing again, I would say that this would actually be a really bad Riven. Right now, it's probably not a terrible, terrible Riven, but also, you know, negative damage to Grenier is pretty awful at the same time. So I'm not sure if I want to keep this one in the end. But yeah, as a keeper for right now, for like the unrolled Riven it started out as, I'll take this for the time being, keeping in mind that I do have Prime Bane of the Grenier maxed out, which would offset that negative. But yeah, so far, for our plus stats here, what we've got currently, we got fire rate, which is good with this massive magazine of 160. A fire rate buff is going to help us shoot through that magazine faster and use more of our DPS. Also got damage and crit damage. Good stats on this thing. Of course, I wouldn't mind having multi-shot instead, but yeah, good enough Riven for now. So here we are with crit damage and punch through. So that's the exact same stats as the new Merciless Gunfight mod from the Hex. So funny enough, this is just a pretty much a little bit better version of Merciless Gunfight. 45% crit damage exactly, just like Merciless Gunfight, and 1.4 meters of punch through versus the 1.2 meters of punch through of actual Merciless Gunfight. 15 mod rate on Merciless Gunfight, 18 mod rate on this. So putting it in perspective like that, it looks pretty bad in that light, so we're going to definitely keep this one right here. Alright, so let's keep going. I think we can do better than this one. I mean, I definitely could use this one right now. But, yeah, I'm not really a big, I don't really do Corpus missions that often. I will do Techrot missions or Scaldra missions. But, yeah, minus Grenier is pretty rough for me. At least when they become corrupted, they're no longer Grenier. So, yeah, for corrupted missions, this could be decent as well. But there's no corrupted Demolus, for example. I do hope that one day we get Scaldra Demolus on the 1999 tile set. But as of right now, the closest we have is the Screamer in Stage Defense. And I'm assuming that's all we're going to ever have. Because I believe DE said they're done updating the Hex Syndicate for now. And I'm just talking about other stuff not related to this Riven because, yeah, the Riven rolls have been pretty rough these last couple. So we've got minus damage. So, like, I'll take minus Grenier over minus damage any day. Because, yeah, the other stats on that, like reload speed, it has not the best reload speed. But, yeah, I'll take this over that. Plus zoom also pretty bad on a Riven in general. I know a lot of people have been asking me about Riven stats in particular. I would say plus ammo is usually not a Riven stat you ever want to go for. Status duration is nichely usable on some Rivens, but yeah, also that's another one you don't really want. And it's not really increasing the actual DPS of the weapon. This Riven I have right now, it's again, besides Grenier, it's going to be pretty much a DPS upgrade in all situations. More fire rate to fire your bullets faster, 160 magazine, more overall damage. Not the most optimal stat, like I said earlier. Multi-shot probably would have been better there. But, yeah, critical damage, that's good. It's not guaranteed crits, but I'd like to use secondary Enervate, and this is a very good Enervate Riven we have right here. No crit chance wasted. No, it's also technically usable for secondary Acuity as well, now I think about it, because there's no multi-shot in the Riven. Now, if I did take multi-shot, secondary Acuity means no multi-shot can be altered, which would mean you're wasting your Riven stat on there, so, yeah. It can be usable. I mean, this thing has not the highest base crit chance, so I mean, I'm just kind of talking about it as an idea. Yeah, Acuity mods. That is a pretty bad one right there. But yeah, I'll find a way to replace this Bane of the Grenier stats. So, I mean, technically, actually, now that I think about it, these spores do provide I believe, a Bane of the Grenier type bonus. So as long as these spores are active, it should offset the negative of the Riven. Okay, we got minus fire rate and plus zoom. Those are two things you should never really take on a Riven, except in the most niche of situations. So let's go ahead and not take that Riven. You might also notice, too, this one had 43% critical damage, and the one I was keeping has 50% crit damage. So we got pretty lucky on the crit damage roll. Not every crit damage roll is created equal as far as these stats can be distributed here. Alright, so we're about on the 30th roll here, and we're getting nothing better than what we already have. That's kind of what the Riven rolling experience turns into after you start getting a good roll. Every roll after that has to be a much, much better roll to replace it. So that's what it's like. At this point, maybe sell the Riven. Like, if you are not trying to just, get a Riven to keep for yourself, you could totally just sell this one already. But for me, I'm hoping we get some. It looks like we can't really get anything better. Maybe I should have just cut my losses there. You could rock it in the Simulacrum for a bit, but let's give it a couple more here. Okay, fire rate and damage. So we would end up getting 10% more fire rate and 40% more damage. We'd lose our crit damage. That's obviously not going to be the best. It does have a better negative, though, so maybe a little bit more effective against Grenier themselves. So I say we give it about 3 more rolls here. Let's hop into the sim and see how this new Riven is going. Maybe even against the Grenier themselves to see how terrible that actually feels. Okay, so 2 more. Let's hope that we get something a little bit stronger. Maybe the exact same roll with a better negative. All right. Let's see what we got. Is this going to be the one we ended on? Oh, it's got ammo max. We can't end it on ammo max. Let's roll it a couple more times here before we hop in the sim. Might just show it on frost or something. Oh, minus crit damage, but it has plus blast. So see, if I had a Riven roll like this with a better negative, I would consider it. But as it stands, yeah, minus crit damage, just a pretty bad negative on this thing. Okay, can we end it on that one? Let's roll it 2 more times again. I know, I love to roll Rivens. Punch through and damage. I mean, okay, let's end it on that one, right? Yeah, let's end it on that one. Let's go to the Simulacrum and take a look at our new dual TORXCIA Riven. No, we're not done. 40 rolls is what we'll end it on. I think that's fair to the Riven. I bought it for like 100 plat, kind of, so 3 more would be 40 rolls. Were we rewarded for our roll? It looks like we might have been rewarded. We've got punch through electric damage and minus magazine. So, electric. That could be okay, potentially, depending on what kind of build you're going for. I think I might stick with the one I have already, though. Like a decent negative with 160 magazine, but at the same time, punch through on this thing. Let's stick with the fire rate and go for 2 more rolls to finish it off. Yeah, but this Riven is kind of just like a different version. Oh, what do we have here? Another potential Riven roll. You have to remember, too, that Prime Convulsion does exist for pistols, so whenever you see an electric roll, it's fighting against Prime Convulsion. So you guys let me know in the comments, should I have taken this roll over the other one? I think I'm going to stick with the one I have right now. I mean, it's just so good. I think it's so good for secondary acuity. I was trying to link secondary acuity. I couldn't find it. Okay, so the last 3 rolls were not worth it. This is why rolling Rivens could be bad. I think I got that like the 4th or 5th roll and rolled it another 35 times after that and still had the same roll. Of course, I could have taken those electric rolls. I had like 2 electric rolls in a row basically at the end. But I just know that Prime Convulsion exists. If I really want an electric type build, Prime Convulsion would likely be on the build. So, yeah. Up to you. If you let me know in the comments down below if you think that I took the wrong roll in the end. I think I took the roll that made the most sense to me, at least. It works with Acuity, it works with Enervate, it works with quite a few things. It just doesn't really have the best anti-Grineer capabilities. So we're going to go ahead and throw on Frost here. Looks like I was doing the Encore on Frost, but yeah. So as far as why I was using Frost, I just was trying out Secondary Shiver. Since I released my top 10 worst Arcanes video recently, I was like messing with Secondary Shiver to see if it was really that bad. So as far as the stat increase right now, did the stats even go up? I removed Lethal Torrent and the crit damage didn't go up. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that. So we went to 7.4 multiplier. Worse fire rate than Lethal Torrent, but a little bit more damage too. So let's go ahead and give this a quick shot on these enemies. Keeping in mind, I have Bane the Grineer on here. And we're actually going to go with a Blast build too. So change the element of the weapon to cold. We've got Prime Key to charge on here. Maybe some status would be good, but for right now, we'll just try out Secondary Shiver. Decent chunk of extra damage per cold proc on the enemy. Let's also make sure they're Grineer as well, so we can see the full badness of our negative here in full effects. Let's go ahead and see what we got. I'll throw on Nourish too, and I'm also going to use his ulti because that's where the cold procs come from. So right there, that transfer the spores to nearby enemies. I mean, it seems kind of okay. I'm liking the fire rate quite a bit. I will say that. The fire rate feels quite nice. And of course, if we weren't fighting against Grineer, they would get totally annihilated. But I got Bane the Grineer on here at the same time, so it makes sense why I have that. So I would say pretty good. I mean, compared to no Riven, I think I got like an extra 1,000,000 damage per explosion here. So I'm liking the Riven. The spores also offset that debuff of the negative. So yeah, pretty good Riven in the end, actually. I would say it was worth the 100 plat I paid for it. Probably didn't need to roll it as much, but hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time. Appreciate all support. Secondary Shiver's fun. Try to Nervate build real quick too before I call it. But yeah, come on, stop in the live stream if you haven't already. We're doing some Omni Forma bundle giveaways. And I'm hoping the dual TORXCIA gets its Dispo buff, but as of right now, it's like it's 0.55 and 0.5 is the lowest possible. So yeah, even without the Frost buff, pretty nice here. So might as well I can be using a little bit more often going forward. See you guys next video. Take it easy, peace.